Hey, hi everyone. So in this session, we're going to see how to assign a Windows 365 license to user, and also we can see the desktop provisioning, and we can establish a desktop connection. So in previous session, we have seen how to import an image, to establish a network connection to our VNet, and also to create a provisioning policy. So now we can see these are the SKUs are available, right? So based on the our requirement, we can plan like one CPU starting with one CPU, 2 GB RAM, and we can see 8 GB, 32 GB RAM. So unlike Azure virtual desktops AVD, it is based on the consumption base, but here it is a fixed price, right, monthly basis, so we can plan accordingly. Now let me go to the Microsoft 365 admin console, and we can see how we can assign the license to the users. This is the user I am going to test, and what we need to do, we can assign the license to the user and save the changes. Now we can see the changes has been saved. So last day we have created the provisioning policy, so we can go and check whether this user is part of the provisioning policy group. I'm in the endpoint management admin console in the Windows 365 and the provisioning policy. Let me open the provisioning policy, and we can check what is the group added to the provisioning policy. In the assignment, we can see CP group is the group added to the provisioning policy. Now what we can check, we can check in the Azure Active Directory to see whether this the user is part of this group. Now I'm in the Azure Active Directory, so this is the group we have seen in the provisioning policy. We can check the members of this group, and this is the user CP user 2. We have assigned the license. That user is already part of this group, so that means it should automatically start provisioning the desktop. Now we can go and check in the 365 console. Now we can see in the all cloud PCs and the provisioning status. So here we can see the it's not provision and it's CPU user 2. We can see it's automatically created and it is in the provisioning status. Since I don't have the license, right, I have only one license, which is already assigned by this user, and the desktop is provision. That is the reason it is pending. So if I delete this one, it will get immediately start provisioning the desktop. But this is more about the provisioning policy. So now let me check how we can access this desktop from the network. To test the functionality, we can go to the Windows 365. So this is the URL to access the Windows 365 desktops, or we can download the client and we can access from there as well. Now I can enter the username and the password. Now we can see the home page, and we can access our cloud PC, and we can open from the browser. Now I'm going to enter my on-prem domain username and the password. Now we can see our the desktop is ready to use. Now we can see how we can monitor this user session from the endpoint manager admin console. So if you go to the report, then we can see the endpoint analytics. There we can see the remote connection. So, and we can see the round trip time. So what is the round trip time, how much the time which has taken to establish the session, everything we can see in the endpoint analytics. Apart from the resource performance, so all other endpoint management admin features, right? So we can we can use it like same like any other endpoint which are managed through endpoint manager admin center like intune, right? So we can use all the features are available in the endpoint manager console. So in case if you wanted to apply the compliance policy, the conditional access, the configuration policies, the glue policies, and the Windows updates like the quarterly update, the monthly updates, everything we can able to manage from the Intune management console. The same like if you wanted to have some set of endpoint security like endpoint defender for the endpoint, so this can be enabled from the Intune, the endpoint security console. And once we deploy the cloud PC and once it's available, and we can manage same like any other desktop, like physical desktop we are managing, same way we can manage the end-to-end security compliance and the application deployment, everything we can use from the Microsoft Endpoint Manage Admin Console. So this is all about the Microsoft 365, and thank you.